It's springtime in the Netherlands, and the countryside is all aglow with colorful blossoms, which enhance the proverbial picturesqueness of the old windmills and instill the hearts of all nature lovers with the romantic spirit of spring. Home sweet home in any country is charming enough, but here we find an added attraction in the profusion of floral plants that are always an inseparable part of even the most humble homes in Holland. The Dutch people literally worship flowers, and among the first words taught to their children are the names of flowering plants and blossoms. And as the children grow older, they usually take part in the numerous parades that march in the springtime, commemorating the season of blossoms and the beginning of new life in the floral kingdom. Verily, this is a floral kingdom, and the crowning bloom is the tulip. Nowhere in the world have we seen such a variety and such an abundance of this colorful flower. In addition to the cultivated fields, tulips and hyacinths are planted along the public highways, and every home garden features choice specimens of these flowers. Windmills have always been associated with Holland, and their introduction into the country dates back to the 15th century, when an ingenious Dutchman perfected a water mill so that it could be used in pumping water from the marshlands. Power-driven motors are now doing the work of the old mills, but historical societies have taken steps to preserve many of the more interesting examples. Within a 25-mile radius of Amsterdam and The Hague, in the vicinity of the coastal dunes, we behold the richest, most colorful bulblands in the world. The choice specimens are grown in greenhouses, and their values range as high as $1,000 for a single bulb. This is not so fabulous when we realize that it takes from 5 to 10 years of experienced supervision to cultivate and mature these very rare bulbs. The history of the tulip has never been traced beyond the 16th century, and according to European writers, Turkey seems to be the country where the flower originated. But the name was appropriated from the Persian language and means a turban. Tulips were first brought to Holland about the middle of the 16th century, and the curious demand for them eventually led to one of the most extraordinary speculative manias the world has ever known. Much of the ordinary trade of the country was given up, and the usual occupations of the citizens were neglected, so that more time and money could be given to this new and quick method of becoming rich. Fabulous prices were paid for rare species, A prize of 100,000 florins was offered for a black tulip, a feat that was considered impossible at the time. Today in Holland, there are a few rare specimens of this same black flower, and a halo of romance still lingers around it. Elaborate rules for planting, fertilizing, and caring for choice varieties of tulips were written before 1700. The Turks insisted upon pointed petals, but Europeans preferred the petals rounded. Strangely enough, the one-colored blossoms, so favorably regarded by florists today, were considered to be of little value in the first century of tulip culture. Unfortunately, the petals have no commercial value, although they are sometimes used for refertilizing the soil from whence they came. By plucking the petals in full bloom, the bulbs in the ground are better preserved and made more productive when shipped to the markets of the world. Perhaps there is no chapter in the story of mankind which has endowed a country with more color and romance than has that of the tulip industry of Holland. For not only has this glamorous occupation converted it into a dreamland of floral rainbows, it has also contributed to Holland's commercial importance among the nations of the world, so that today there is hardly a cultivated tulip growing in the gardens of the Western Hemisphere that did not have its distant origin in one of the tulip fields of Holland. Although the petals may have no value for the practical-minded bulb growers, this particular part of the business is always a source of consternation to the lovers of flowers. After the plucking, the petals are either plowed back into the earth or transported in boats to the sand dunes, where they find a sad end to their brief but colorful existence. And here again, the sentiment of flower lovers is aroused at the sight of the bulb growers marching to the wastelands of the dunes and deliberately throwing their delicate cargoes of petals upon the ground. There is one final service, however, to be credited to the petals, as they provide a delightful source of amusement for the children of the bulb growers. In conclusion, we feel that no more poetic tribute could be given to any country than the fact that it developed and gave to the Western world one of its most colorful flowers, the tulip. And it is with this thought that we most reluctantly say farewell to springtime in the Netherlands.